You're listening to DJ Medi Major.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy DJ Medi Major, man, back again. Episode 49. Let's Do It Major podcast. Got my second ever guest on today. My boy Tyrone. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit of spring football for LSU, who is Miami's first opponent for next season. Ty, say what's up to the people, man.
What's up with it? Go Tigers.
Before we get started, man, go ahead and let everybody know where they can reach out to you, you know what I'm saying? Any social media, Twitter, etc.
T as in Tango, B as in Bravo, URKS, and 87. And then on Facebook, it's regular spelling, Tyrone Burks.
All right, so if y'all ain't catch that, Tyrone Burks, man, pretty common spelling. Was it, you said T Burks 87?
T Burks 87.
All right, T Burks 87 on, and I'll be in the episode description if you want to hit him up. Of course, you know where to find me at DJ_Medi Major on IG, at DJ Medi Major, all together on Twitter, of course. So let's get into it, man. Ty, I'm gonna let you kind of lead most of this discussion, so the Canes fans is listening can kind of get a better feel for who they about to who we about to see in our opening game of next season. For those who don't know, man, me and Ty, man, like we go way back. People used to think the sports arguments used to have would lead to some type of gun violence and shit like that, but it was never nothing that crazy, you know what I'm saying? But people really used to be intrigued and like hearing both of our points of views, you know what I'm saying? So I've been saying this for a long time. I was going to get him on. I think now is about as good as time as any, you know what I'm saying, to get him on so y'all can hear his perspective, you know what I'm saying? So tonight, what we'll be talking about, basically departures from last season, upcoming position battles, coaching changes, if any, incoming freshman poised to make an impact, the realistic outlook and schedule breakdown for each of LSU's games. So y'all heard my breakdown a couple of episodes back of Miami's schedule. We'll talk to him, let him break down his schedule, realistic win-loss outlook, stuff like that. So let's get into it, man. Go ahead, Ty. We'll start it off with departures from last season. One off the top of my head that I know of personally is Derrius Guice.
That's a big loss. Big loss.
Yeah, to me, that was the and this is just me. I think he had a better rookie NFL season than he had a better what was it, junior season.
He had some injuries bothering him early in the year. He didn't fully recover until about the Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
The week before Alabama game was.
Yeah. So tell us about Derrius Guice, man, and who else you guys should be impact players you guys might be missing this year.
Well, I mean, the last couple of years, LSU's had some good RBs come through. Leonard before him came in, he was the Jaguars, now had a good rookie year. But
definitely,
Guice is kind of similar. He's kind of similar to Fournette in the way that he has physically is 35 or 240 when he went in the combine. But he's a solid 5'11", 220, and he runs angrily. He has that home run speed. If he falls late first round, early second round, somebody's getting the gym. Definitely, a top 15 talent, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't see Guice slipping. I think he's the second best running back in the class behind Barkley. And
Barkley is serious.
Yeah, no knock on him and his ability. Is just I think what Barkley brings to the table and the impact he made for them garbage ass Nittany Lions. I think that can't be undersold. You know what I'm saying? Like I really think that he's one of the guys. I hope the Giants draft him. They talking about Sam Darnold. I'm not gonna get into that. That could be for another episode. But
Sam Darnold liability.
all right. But now, who else you got? Who else you guys gonna be missing this year?
So I mean, I'll go down the list, starting with offense first. For me, two huge ones for me. I'm gonna start up front and on the line. We lost all SEC center Will Clapp. He was a redshirt junior, meaning he was by academic standards a senior. Him leaving really hurts our offensive line. With continuity, he been able to call out the protections. Him get everybody lined up, and he had played so much football at LSU. He started as guard, center, and played a little tackle. When Maya Tuma first left, and Gerald Hawkins got hurt. But he can do it all.
It's a lot of versatility.
Exactly, compared to everyone on the line. The one that's really going to have everybody pumped up who's an LSU fan is, I'm saying, Danny Evans. Him leaving is going to hurt. I mean, he ain't the kind of guy who's going to win you, go win the game for you, but he's not losing for you either. I mean, where's it? I had it up earlier. Yeah, he had a very solid year. Completing 60% of his passes. 16-2 touchdown interception rate. I mean, it wasn't flashy, but he got the job done. He made sure we were in every single game. So losing him is going to be big, in my opinion. I mean, we got guys more talented behind us competing for the spot. I'll get into later, but they weren't half as smart as he is, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. And then you round it out with a couple receivers, of DJ Chark and Russell Gage, who are starting, X and Y, and losing them. Anytime you lose the kind of production is going to hurt. But DJ Chark especially, y'all saw him at the combine run that 4.34.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that boy on that.
Yeah.
225, 16 times.
That was the top. That was the top 40, right?
Yeah, it was top of my wide receivers, and then I think like 4th, 5th overall. But I mean, he's a freak of an athlete.
Okay, that's what's up. What's his sizes again?
He's about 6'2", 199, 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's pretty solid for a receiver. Someone will get somebody out of there. They just gotta coach him up. But yeah, definitely. It sounds to me like you guys got a lot of offense that you got to replace.
Man,
which is, to me, I'm totally happy with that. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be a new look LSU team. I mean, I was getting to it a little earlier, but I mean, we losing over 90% of our rushing and our passing. First time that's happened in over a decade. You got to date back to when Saban had first left, or a little after that. I say around 2012-ish, 2013-ish. Yeah. Anyway, though, I'm rambling, but we're going to be probably a pass-first team. You see it come out with 31 personnel, 3 wide, 1 tight end, 1 back, a lot of single back, tight end, single back, and a lot of 4 or 5 wide receiver sets. It's going to kind of be. I mean, this is what's been told to us, and what you hear about from all the insiders, guys like Sonny Shipp, Shea Dixon, guys like that. That it's going to be a pass-first offense. It won't be 50-50, but more like 60-40 pass. So it's going to be new if people watch LSU football.
Okay. So what about the defense? How's that looking?
This defense can be special. I think this will be the best defense we have since 2011.
Yeah?
2012. Because both are top 10 defenses. I mean, last year, they finished right outside the top 10. Yeah. They finished 12th, allowed 316 yards a game. That's going to improve tremendously. I was with an undersized and a very thin D front. Ed Orgeron made a conscious effort to recruit both sides of the ball up front so that we're stout. And on defense, I mean, inside, we got the Rougarou, Ed Alexander from Hammond, Louisiana. A monster. On the right end, we're gonna have. I mean, right or left end. It depends on the alignment, some of the positions. But I mean, you got Rashard Lawrence on one side, from a 5-star recruit from Monroe, Louisiana, and then also you got Braden Fehoko from Hawaii. He's a transfer from Texas Tech, a former top 50 player overall. And it's kind of weird how he transferred. He started every game on campus the first 2 years of his career at Texas Tech, and then his transfers. So I mean, I'm glad we have him, but we're situation to say the least. But I mean, and then you got our second line, our linebacking core. We returned Devin White, over 130 tackles combined, over 60 solo. I mean, he's a man of the animal.
Yeah.
Animal. So I mean, I'm excited for him. And then next to him is kind of be like the kind of the curious spot, because next to him you got two sophomores battling out, and Tyler Taylor and Jacob Phillips. Phillips is from a 5-star, number 1 middle linebacker in the country. He has all the talent in the world, but he's behind mentally what Tyler Taylor's at. Because I mean, he started 10 to 12 games last year. Tyler Taylor's a freshman out of Buford, Georgia. So I mean, I'm excited about that. And then on the outside, we got Caleb Vine Chase. We got Andre Anthony, who's coming off, NCAA's ineligibility, and then this redshirt year, we got Ray Thornton, Michael Divinity. Like, we're going to be good on the front seven.
Okay.
Secondary, losing out on Pastor Tane, that was tough.
I know the feeling.
But it came down to the true 11th hour where he called and let Ed Orgeron and company know that he was going to Alabama. I mean, it was crazy because, I mean, the entire time he was LSU lean. Then he visited Bama for a official visit in January during the championship parade. And then from there, once you see that trophy, everything changes. So losing him hurts. But on one side, we got, All-American corner Greedy Williams coming back. We got freshman All-Americans from last year, Grant Delpit. And Frank, you might know who he is. You know, he started safety 2 years ago at IMG Academy. So, you know, he's ready. He was flirting with that 5-star status for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get it him being a 4-star, but I mean, started every game as a freshman. I mean, this kid, turn on the tape. Turn it on. You see his highlight tape? He got 3-4 of them. It's solid. Great range, 6'3", 200, good size. And he still looks small at 6'3", 200. So, I mean, just imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
The build is Sean Taylor-esque. I'm not calling him Sean Taylor, fan, but
don't do that. especially day after his birthday. Don't do that. Don't do that, man, like that, man.
I mean, nobody is Sean Taylor, but that's the build, you know.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm comparing it to. And then on the opposite of him is going to be a pretty nice battle. You got Eric Monroe from a 5-star safety. John Battle, called Grandpa. He's been there 5-6 years now.
Yeah, I know that, man.
So,
yeah, he's been there for a minute.
This year. From Hollandale, right? You remember that? Yeah. And then you got Eric Monroe, and then Jacoby Stevens, from a 5-star athlete, number 6 in America, coming out of high school. He really gets too much tick as a freshman. They expected him, you know, because he came in as an early enrollee to start next to John Battle, but, you know, definitely beat him out. So he'll be fighting for that strong safety spot, you know, with those other two.
That's what's up. All right. As far as Miami goes, kind of giving you a little caveat, we kind of have a similar situation. Not quality depth at the tackle position, and the ends they just kind of it's kind of a toss up. I mean, for the tackles, we got Gerald Willis. I'm sure you know who that is. You know.
He's still there?
Yeah, he's still there. He took a year off due to a family related issue last year, so he didn't play at all, and then he came back to the team.
He gonna be ready for LSU.
Yeah,
that.
Absolutely. So he's slated to be a starter, absolutely. And then former 4-star John Ford, defensive tackle. He had a year to kind of develop his body. So right now he's slated as the guy who's gonna start the other tackle. On the ends, we lost Chad Thomas due to his eligibility, senior, real good dude. Doesn't have
from Booker T. Washington, right?
Yeah. No, you good. Definitely, gonna miss him and having him with the program. But I'm happy for him. You know what I'm saying? He did. I don't know if you know, he's the one that produced a couple tracks off of Rick Ross' last album, because he went to the School of Music.
Really?
Yeah, that Apple of My Eye with Raphael Sadiq. He produced that track. So
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So he been chasing bags, whether it's on the football field or off the field. So definitely looking forward to whatever endeavors he pursues after this. And then
I'm working with him.
Yeah. So Demetrius Jackson, he got injured. He was I think he was a Carroll City dude. Got injured, real big dude, huge in the community. I think if football don't work out for him, he definitely could be like the mayor of Overtown or Little Haiti or Liberty City or something like that. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But definitely one of those guys that's out in the community. A lot of production. He gets to come back for another year eligibility due to his injury, so he should be starting at the other end. Behind him, you got Jonathan Garvin, former 4-star. That's that kid that had the 2 straight strip sack fumbles. He had one against Virginia Tech as a true freshman, and then the next week did it literally in the same exact fashion against Brandon Wimbush in the Notre Dame game. So huge kid.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, definitely gonna make some noise this year. He gonna get some more snaps. Also got Joe Jackson. He's a former 4-star. He's from Booker T, I believe, too. If not Booker T, Carroll City. I always get the school confused because of the colors, but
yeah, definitely.
He'll probably slide in at the other end position opposite Demetrius Jackson. So we got a lot of ends. It's the defensive tackles where we slacking at, but we definitely got that kid Nessa Silvera, the 5-star from American Heritage. That was Pat Surtain's homeboy. He was the one that in the state championship game he had that strip sack fumble. He returned it as a D tackle, ran it back like 40-50 yards.
You must be an animal.
Yeah. He's gonna be a monster. He's not gonna start per se, At least he's not slated to start right now in spring, but he definitely will get some reps. He just needs some time to learn the playbook, develop stuff like that. But I definitely can see him starting on the other side of Ford. You got Pat Bethel, who is I think he's a son of a Heritage FSU player, if I'm not mistaken. He's gonna be also getting reps at the D tackle. But after that, that's it. We probably got those 4 tackles and maybe a couple guys we can switch in and out on 3 technique packages, but realistically, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely going to be a little bit thin at the tackle position. So if you guys do decide to start running the ball against us up the middle, that's, depending on how many, plays that drive is going for, that might be a little bit of an issue. At the ends, though, pass rush definitely going to be should be solid. We got a lot of production coming back. As far as the back, as you already know, Mike Pickney, Shaquille Quarterman, and Zach McCloud, they all back.
Quarterman, yep.
Yeah, they all back for their junior seasons. The crazy thing about all 3 of these guys is Zach McCloud is actually, to me, the one that hasn't lived up to the hype. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the one I was kind of expecting towards the end of their freshman season after that West Virginia game to be, because he had a monster freshman. Like, the end of his freshman campaign, I was like, he might end up being the guy that outshines both of these, because he was the less heralded recruit between the other 2. But last year he hit a terrible sophomore wall, had a really bad sophomore slump. So he definitely regressed in my eyes. They ended up, it kind of put Manny Diaz in a bind, because he had to find a situation where, due to his lack of speed for one, and just mental makeup, I guess, we really couldn't put him in a position where we could put him on a nickel set. So that's where you start seeing guys like Trajan Bandy, the true freshman corner from Columbus. Guys like him kind of sliding in. So on third downs, we started going to more nickel sets, where he'd be lined up with either a flexed out tight end or a bigger slot receiver. But I mean, he filled the role amicably. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like a real bad, like, oh my God. I mean, towards the end of the season, I think teams started exposing it, especially in those last 3 losses that we finished with. And I don't think it was necessarily the scheme. I think it was just his timing and where he was at in the system. Trajan Bandy, that is. And Zach McCloud, I'm really going to have to see where his development is. He's not practicing right now, which bothers me, because he has a wrist injury. I don't know if I was jacking his meat too hard or what, but he well, he ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan, because I think he needs all the development he can get right now. So Mike and Shaq, are playing. So those 2 guys be ready. As far as the secondary goes, we returned Jaquan Johnson, who I think easily was probably one of the better safeties in the ACC. If you look at the statistics, just the way he changed games, a lot of times I think the ACC didn't give him. I think they were too busy sucking off Derwin James, trying to make him appear as this second coming of Sean Taylor, that he wasn't. He didn't have close to the production he had in his freshman season. He was average, and Jaquan Johnson beats him in every statistical category last season. But somehow he ended up finishing first team All ACC. Jaquan finished second. I still don't understand that, but I think Jaquan is definitely going to make. I've been watching this kid since he was in high school, really since he was in Pop Warner. That kid is special. He hasn't had the chance to show it fully yet, but I think this year is going to be definitely a breakout season for him. I think he had 4 interceptions, 3 or 4 forced fumbles.
That turnover change, the fun.
Yeah. That the one that stands out to me most is when we were in the black jerseys. I think against Notre Dame, he had that one-handed pick. That was crazy. He caught it. I'm talking about, like, just the momentum it had during that time. And then against Virginia Tech, we had the black jersey the first time. He had a nice little hit on I think it was a tight end, and RJ McIntosh, who went to the draft, ended up scooping it and taking it like 60, 70 yards, like downfield. Like, it was crazy. Like, so definitely could hit. Got great ball hawk skills. He's not there as far as the size standpoint. He stretches in about 5'10" ish, maybe on the verge of 5'11". But he's definitely the vocal leader along with Shaq for our defense. Across from him is his best friend, Sheldrick Redwine, also from Killian. The kid he started out as corner. He wasn't a very great corner. He was actually pretty mediocre at corner, and then he ended up balling out at safety. They started him at safety last year, so he'll be back playing the free. Definitely got better ball hawk skills as a safety and as a corner. He sucked man-to-man coverage running up the field with somebody, but dropping back in coverage, watching the whole field, that's his strong point. He played a little bit of it in high school, but he was more of a corner. And he ended up really just making noise at that position. He also had about 4 or 5 turnovers last year, so those two are both back to kind of patrol that deep end. At the corner position, you got Michael Jackson. That's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? out of Alabama, man. This is one of those guys that a lot of our fan base he just seemed like what we like to call a jag, which is just another guy. We never really saw him really breaking the depth chart at all. He's kind of one of those guys in the build of the Richard Shermans, you know what I'm saying, the Sean Smiths, taller, lankier corner, lean, 6 foot, 6'1", maybe 6'2", solid about 190, 195 pounds. But the kid ended up balling out. I don't know what happened, and I don't know how we got him. He was a low-level 4-star, and we plucked him straight out of Alabama. So I think Spain Park High School in the heart of Alabama. So I don't know how he got away from Auburn or Alabama, but we ended up getting him. Probably one of the few things that Al Golden did right, and picking him up. He'll be back for his senior season. So those 3 alone are going to be definitely a force to be reckoned with. At the other side, that's where the mystery begins. We don't have a lot of guys who really came back per se, but we do got a lot of guys at that position who we can kind of plug and play and see where they go. Trajan Bandy's getting reps. He's in his sophomore season. You got Javante Dean, who is the JUCO transfer out of Blinn College in Texas. He had his moments where I kind of scratched my head. He's originally from Miami. He went to Palmetto High School. Palmetto or South Dade. Didn't get any recruits. Went the JUCO route. Ended up becoming a JUCO All-American, but the light didn't really seem to go off for him when he got to Miami at least last year. So he's had a year in the system. From some of the spring highlights I have seen, he's still getting his ass toasted. So we'll see how that go. But the guy I'm really excited for is actually going to be a kid named DJ Ivy, high-rated 4-star. Everybody who talks to him say he's pretty much in the mold of Antrell Roll. Antrell actually, yeah,
that's high praise.
Yeah, Antrell Roll. They went to the same high school. They played the same way, same build. Okay. He's another one of those long corners, 6'1", still developing. But they said this dude's been already making plays, and he's been making plays in spring ball. So he's my favorite recruit out of our recruiting class. Obviously, naturally, because I'm a corner, but I'm really looking forward to him and seeing. I want him to crack as a starter, even if it's to motivate somebody else. That's the guy I really want to see at the opposite corner of Michael Jackson. So have 2 of those long corners, and I mean, as a LSU fan, you guys kind of know because y'all had that same type of build. Longer, longer, lankier corners. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to see Manny Diaz kind of transition into that, and then you got Trajan Bandy, obviously, who will probably start the nickel. So. That's our defense. As far as offense goes, per Mark Richt.
I have a question about one recruit. How is Jeff Thomas doing?
From what I've been seeing, he's been balling. He's been balling in spring practices.
And you watched the Under Armour game last year?
Yeah.
What year before last?
Yeah.
Kid is special, man.
Yeah.
He's special. Probably still little as hell, though, ain't he?
No, he actually put on like 12, 13 pounds of muscle. He's at 175 now. I think he may have gained an inch as far as height goes. But
is he still explosive though?
It seemed like it to me. I got him on Snapchat. He snapped a couple of his spring practice highlights, and he was putting people on skates. Him and Mike Harley are supposed to be two action the players for us. As far as Amon Richards,
that Sam Bruce kid too, didn't you?
Yeah, he got kicked out of school though. Yeah, that was like 2 seasons ago.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I forgot what he did something stupid, but he got kicked off for kind of detrimental. So yeah, he ain't been there for a minute, but I think he's still trying to work on getting back in school. But as far as quarterback, obviously right now, Malik Rozier is the guy that Mark Ricketts tapped him to start it until somebody takes it from him. So I don't know where Nkosi is. I see this one play that everybody is retweeting on social media. Basically what happened was it was a rollout drill. Malik rolled out to his left, threw across his body, missed the throw. Nkosi Perry did the same thing, made the throw. Everybody, oh, I told you he's so much better. Da, da, da. I get it, man, but people need to stop acting like this man did not win 10 straight games. You know what I'm saying? Beat Florida State for the first time in almost a decade. Like, the last time we beat Florida State, I lived in the dorms in McDill. Like, that's saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? So,
I remember that because you had that tough 4-game opener, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not going to casually just walk past that like that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So, I think when it's all said and done, I think Nkosi has more tools to beat him out. So we'll have to see at the end of the summer sessions. But for right now, Malik's the starter until something changes that. I haven't heard nothing that says that's changed. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Running back is very intriguing. You got Travis Homer, who was literally, I think he was 30 yards shy of having a 1,000-yard season. The last three games, he pretty much disappeared. No one knew what happened. I don't blame him. I blame our terrible offensive line. A couple of those guys are gone. I couldn't be more excited for that. Your boy George Brown, man, he ain't cracked the rotation yet. I don't know what's going on, but
George Brown, he's a project. He's like 6'5". Like when he left here, he was 6'5", 260. Great frame, great athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? But type of dude look like Tarzan, play like Jane type. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, so right.
All the right field. So
yeah, so right.
I hope he's successful though. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah. For right now, he's not in any position to start at all. He's looking at second string reps. I think at right tackle. Right now, they got a kid out of New York, Jahair Jones, who was I think he was a JUCO transfer too from a couple seasons ago. He's looking like he's gonna start getting some reps at starting tackle. We got a kid named Hayden Mahoney who kind of is weird. He actually played a little bit of fullback. We had no fullback, and so in the sets, he was a smaller guy, true freshman. So he had some experience with it. I'm not crazy about I formations or offset I formations personally.
Man, I can agree more.
I just don't think there's a lot of room for it. But we recruited the number 1 fullback in the nation, so I don't know. So right now, I'm not gonna lie. This is the most. Our stable right now is the closest to looking like it did back in the early 2000s. When we had Najee, Clinton, Frank, Willis. Ooh. Yeah, so we got a lot of guys who are gonna. Right now, if I had to say, I say the far and away starter is Travis Homer, but I think the 5-star Lorenzo Lingard. I think he can definitely push him up. Everything I've heard, people saying that this kid is every. I'm not big in the stars, but they say from what they've seen, he's every bit of the 5-star they thought he was. Won the Gatorade Football Athlete of the Year. I think he won Mr. Florida Football. Yeah,
that's
yeah. We haven't seen we haven't recruited a running back like this since Duke Johnson. So, and he's a lot.
Duke.
Yeah, and he's a lot bigger than Duke. So he's about 6'1", 180, 190. Should get some good weight on him. Get up to about 200. And they say he's definitely gonna push for starting time. I can't think of who the second string is.
Is Mark Walton already gone?
Yeah, he declared. So he had a pretty solid pro day. I don't blame him for leaving. I think it was more along the lines that he got a daughter and his mom passed away in the off season last year. Like pretty much within months of each other. So, he kind of got to figure out what's best for him. I think if he's fully healthy, I think I think whoever picks him up. I look at him maybe a 3rd, 4th round draft pick, maybe 5th.
Still.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Whoever gets him, is definitely getting a steal. So, At the receiver position, Amon Richards is expected to come back fully healthy. Right now, he's not practicing still. He's still working his way back. We expecting some big things from Daryl Langham, who was, if you remember, he was the hero of a couple games, the Georgia Tech game and Florida State. He kind of disappeared. Yeah, he kind of disappeared at the end of the season. One of those guys, kind of like what you were saying about George Brown. One of those guys, like, they had to coach him like you got to play like you're 6'5". You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The only time I really saw him play like that was those two plays, pretty much. And then against Bethune-Cookman, he had a 5'8". They were stupid enough to stick a 5'8" corner on him, and he was abusing his ass all game. But then again, it's BCU, so I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, expecting him probably play one of the X or Y positions opposite of Amon. What I'm more excited of is the guys we got behind them. But obviously, you got Jeff Thomas. Jeff Thomas is going to get some X time, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get some time at the X. Yeah, definitely going to get some time at the Y. East St. Louis's own. I still got to check out that. I recorded it, but I haven't watched it yet, that 89 Blocks documentary that LeBron James co-produced. I don't know if you heard about it.
Nah.
Yeah, FX actually followed their team when they were at East St. Louis High when they were trying to pursue a state champion. I think they ended up winning it. But he was the best dude on their team, and they actually followed their season. It's a documentary. I think it's on FX. It's called 89 Blocks, and it shows them growing up in East St. Louis and the crime and violence, stuff like that. I recorded it a while ago. It came out like sometime like right after the season last year, and I haven't got around to watching it yet. But definitely supposed to be a good watch. So, and like I said, it's co-produced by
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's executive produced by LeBron James. So, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Mike Harley. Mike Harley was one of those guys that, like, when you see Mike Harley run a route, and it's the same thing, like, for everything that people herald Trayvon Grimes for, when he was at
Oh, I forgot about him. He was Ohio State, didn't he?
Yeah, he transferred out. He's at Florida now.
So they got that, him and Emory Jones.
Yeah.
Emory Jones was a 4-star dual threat guy committed to Ohio State, who Bama tried to flip, but he ended up flipping to Florida.
Yeah.
Elite prospect.
Yeah, but he can't play this year because the eligibility rules. So he'll sit this year out. But yeah, next year, man, he actually tried to holler at Mark Richt on the low to come back to Miami. We were like, hell no, you turned your back on the city once, like, you don't get a second chance. So he ended up settling for Florida. But yeah, Trayvon Grimes, like, for everything that he was, is 6'5". Because I mean, when I watched him on tape, especially during the 7-on-7 circuits and the 1-on-1 drills, it just seemed to me like he kind of, because he came out the same year as what's his name's brother, right? The kid from Alabama. He a true freshman. He just finished true freshman year. What's his name? It was that one kid from South Florida, and they used to be abusing people.
Ridley?
Yeah. Ridley's little brother.
Riley Ridley?
I think so.
Yeah, he went to Georgia.
Yeah. He ended up going to Georgia. So they used to like really like turn up on people in a 1-on-1s, but it seemed like all they were good at is running go routes. That's it. Like slants, underneath routes. They couldn't do that. So what it seemed like to me is when Mike Harley and him were lined up at the X and Y at St. Thomas Aquinas, Mike Harley was the vertical threat. No, not Mike Harley. Mike Harley was a vertical threat, but he's only 5'8", 5'9". Trayvon Grimes was the vertical threat, and Mike Harley was going to catch everything underneath. He was going to be the guy that ran that quick pop slam off the line, ran those quick hitches, stuff like that. If, Trayvon Grimes was double covered downfield in coverage. So Mike Harley definitely fills that void for us here. He also got to put on a little bit of weight. I'm definitely excited to see what he can do out the slot. I think he'll play more slot just based off his size. He might be scratching 5'10", but I'm guessing he's still more around closer to 5'9". So this year is probably going to be the most weapons that, mind you, those guys got playing time as true freshmen. You know what I'm saying? You got to think. In the last 3 games, in those 3 losses against Pitt, we lost Chris Herndon, who was our best tight end at the time, as well as Amon Richards, who was already fighting injuries. So in those last 3 games, people didn't want to give me the benefit of the doubt, but we really lost a lot of quality talent at those positions. So, tight end, Chris Herndon obviously declared he was a senior. He had to. We'll see where he gets drafted. But behind him, you got Michael Irvin. And then
Look at that legacy.
Yeah, Michael Irvin II, who definitely ain't his dad right now.
Is he wearing 88?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
If he is, he be turning up.
Yeah. And then you got two guys I'm more excited for: Will Mallory, true freshman, and Brevin Jordan, who was the number 1 tight end in America out of Bishop Gorman.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, out of Bishop Gorman. So I don't know what it was about Miami, but he locked in. He was solid the whole way through. So excited about him. They say he's kind of learning still, but who else? Line returns a lot of guys. Not too much starting depth. We lost what's his name? McDermott, who I thought was a bum. Had a lot of playing time, but I thought he was absolutely a bum. I thought he was a better guard than he was a tackle. They switched him out, and I remember I will never forget this. This will be burned in my memory. In a game against Wisconsin, in a bowl game, in the Orange Bowl home game, this man was blocking their DN, and he lost leverage and slipped, and the DN ended up jumping a screen route and picking it off, and we were up 14-3 at the time. And after that, they just went on a run, and we never was able to stop them. Like I single-handedly, I don't blame Malik Rozier. I single-handedly blame Casey McDermott for that fuckery. If he's an undrafted free agent, that's too nice. I think he's an absolute bum at the tackle position. Like every time I think about him, I get upset. Like fuck him with everything in my soul. But that's about it. We kind of went long on that one, so we'll kind of.
It's all good.
We'll kind of see where we gotta go with that. But as far as coaching changes, did y'all have any?
So it's kind of a year change. So I mean, it's well documented that Ed Orgeron and Matt Canada had a bit of friction. It came to the head of the Troy game. As Troy lost, which as embarrassing as it was a lot of turmoil. I feel like the hire of Matt Canada was almost forced on Ed Orgeron because that was his model. I'm going to be CEO. I'm going to get the best coordinator, which in my opinion we have David Randa. And I'm going to get the best offensive coordinator in America. Well, Kenny Lane Kiffin, because when he went to was it Florida International?
Florida Atlantic.
Sorry, Florida Atlantic at Boca Raton.
Yeah.
So you nigga him who's the next hottest guy. Of course, Pittsburgh, who went to Death Valley and Clemson and beat them when they were number 1. So we hired him. I mean, offense. There's a lot of fancy window dressing from the same amount of production in terms of scoring, in terms of yardage. Mm-hmm. And we still run heavy. We still didn't have any balance. So Ed Orgeron, came to the head Troy game, and from there never recovered. End of the year, they parted ways, which got his resignation, but pretty much he was fired. But replaced him, he promoted Steve Ensminger, right? And nobody really knows who that is. They in Baton Rouge, it's the gunslinger Ensminger because he played QB in the 70s at LSU. So he's LSU diehard through and through. He bleeds purple and gold. Okay. He's been a tight ends coach for the last 4 to 5 seasons. And now he's the OC. When Les Miles got fired after the Auburn game in 2016, he got to take over the offense, and we were explosive. Hanging 40 multiple times in the SEC game. So went 6-2 in that time frame. It ain't a sexy hire by any means, any stretch. But he's a guy who's going to be LSU for a long time. He doesn't plan on going anywhere. So if he has success, which I think we can, he'll be there for a while. We also had a departure from Jeff Grimes. Now this one, on the outside, things quite a bit. He was an excellent recruiter and coach. Pro Football Focus in 2016, we had the number 1 O-line ranked in the SEC per Pro Football Focus. So I think it's what Coach Grimes was doing. But he took the OC job at BYU. You can't blame him. That's a huge step up from O-line coach. Replaced him with a guy named James Craig. I was reading his bio earlier. He's coached multiple Pro Bowlers, including Matt Khalil from the Vikings. Familiar with him at all? Yeah. But he's a solid coach. Ton of enthusiasm on the recruiting trail. Kids are drawn to him. See some of his hashtags. LSU Trenchman That's really gaining steam. We had a commit yesterday on Easter from a center. Can't think of his name. He's a starting center at IMG Academy. He committed to LSU yesterday, and that was on his hashtags. So they're really running with that. On the defensive side of the ball, Pete Jenkins retired. Legendary D-line coach. He's been at LSU three or four different times. He was there under McClendon, I think. I'm not sure he's going to coach him back. But I know he was there under Saban, and then get under Miles, and then they get under Ogeron 2 different times when Ogeron was at USC as the interim coach. And while Ogeron was here with us at LSU, he was had Pete Jenkins with him as his mentor. But we moved Dennis Meatball Johnson, the D-line coach. And this is a kid nobody knows about. O took a chance on him, and he's been recruiting his ass off ever since. So I know you heard the story when we was recruiting the 5-star, Caleb Von Chase, how Ogeron showed up at 5 in the morning before he flew out to go visit the
That's what's up.
Get him that last school spill. Right behind him was Dennis Johnson. So Dennis Johnson closed out with that 5-star, and he's got multiple D linemen on board with this elite type guys. So I'm excited with him. A lot to prove with that. We hired Bill Bush. He used to be a DC, but he's our safeties coach now. So I kind of like Corey Raymond's load and help him be on the recruiting trail more, because anybody, especially in the South Florida area, knows if it's elite DB, Corey Raymond's going to be on. So that gives him time. And he worked with him at Utah State, and the coach Randall worked with Bill Bush at Wisconsin. So well-respected guy, and glad to have him. Then we have Coach Sullivan. He's our passing game coordinator, another legendary coach on the NFL level. He's coached in total over 25 years in the NFL. Developed multiple All-Pros. Just a great guy to have on staff. Kind of get the details of the other position, because since Adam Henry left, it's been a revolving door for LSU wide receiver coaches. We had Coach Craig, Damian Craig from Florida State. Played QB at Auburn in the '90s. He was there for a season and then got fired from Ogeron. We had Mickey Joseph from last year. He's still new to it. Former Nebraska standout. He's still used to it, but he was brought on board mainly for his New Orleans contacts, because his high school New Orleans is a local New Orleans legend. Excuse me. That's all our coaching changes right there. So quite a bit going on both sides of the ball. And we hired Greg McMahon. He's our special teams coach, which if you watch any LSU game this past year, we were atrocious. So. Old boy missed a kick from the 6-yard line against Notre Dame. Here's another one from 37. We missed a couple in the Auburn game. And makes it bad. We kept flipping between the two. And old boy from Connor Cope, we hit 3 or 4 in a row. Then missed 4 or 5 in a row. If he makes any of those field goals, we beat Notre Dame. But
that's crazy.
We should beat them anyway. We outgained them, had more. I'm gonna get mad thinking about it. It was nice. It's nonsense. How do you lose on a fly pattern when you have safety over the top? I love Dante Jackson. He's a fantastic athlete. 10-3 and over 100 out of high school. He's a track star. But it's how do you let that happen, dog? How the fuck? How the fuck? And then John Battle, South Florida, Hollandale, Florida, missed the motherfucking tackle. It's come on, dog. It's you two together are just ass, complete ass. So that cost us the game, but it is what it is. Because Dante Jackson's gone, which is better anyway. And I'm hoping that if this AA, quit acting like some hoes, and to go ahead and reinstate my boy Chris Fulton, former 5-star corner out of Rumble High School in New Orleans. You should look at his videos, his practice footage on his Twitter account. The boy is serious as fuck. You got good size to him, good anticipation, also a track star. If he was reinstated now, we have no issues going into the 2018 season about our secondary. None, not one. But until that happens, he's halfway through a 2-year suspension for failing a drug test. A 2-year suspension. I guess what happens is if you tamper with the test in any way, there's an automatic 2-year ban. And it's from what I understand, somebody peed for him because he was taking some PEDs to recover from an injury, and he got caught and tried to make some XP for him. So, young mistake. He's paying dearly for it. Hopefully, he can be reinstated because 2 years is a long time. That should be reevaluated. Because Penn State got a death penalty, and they let him off the hook halfway through.
I'm not even gonna get into that shit because that'll get me on another level. How? Never mind. Anyway. As far as Miami goes, we only have really two major hires. One pretty significant loss. Craig Kuligowski. I don't know if you
know the name.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but if at any point when the SEC, if they ever gave you your offensive line problems, it was probably because of Craig Kuligowski. He was there pretty much the entire time.
Some good ones.
Yeah, he was there the whole time with at Missouri. Ended up when they went in a different direction with their head coach, he ended up coming to Miami with Mark Richt. He's now going to be your problem every year because he's under Saban now. So Saban was his.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Saban was his mentor. When Saban coaches Toledo, and working under his coach at that program was too good of an opportunity. There was nothing we could do. He's so good at the defensive line. Like, Belichick tried to hire him, try to hire him last offseason, and we had to give him a humongous pay raise as well as make him assistant head coach. And then this year, Nick Saban had familiarity. It was too much to overcome. So he left. That's a huge. You can honestly see the results. I think Miami finished. I have to look, but Miami finished top 4 or 5 in tackles for lost. I think they were easily top 10 in sacks. Like, this man's production is proven. Like, think of a great defensive lineman, and in the last couple years that came out the first round of the draft, and Craig
last year,
all those animals that Missouri was putting out, Craig Kuligowski had his hands on them.
Yeah, last year y'all were top 5 tackles for loss last year.
Yeah.
So.
The Craig Kuligowski definitely made. Now you got to think this man's gonna have. He had mid 5 or low level 5, 4-star athletes he was dealing with. Now this man's about to get 5-star athletes year in and year out.
The keys to a Mercedes. When you're driving an Altima.
Yeah. Altima's a little bit.
Is that too good?
No, you trying to play me right now?
I'm saying he went from driving the Altima to driving a Mercedes.
What, Miami's the Altima?
Miami's the Mercedes, but always talking about him leaving to go to Alabama. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Disregard last.
But nah, we hired instead Jess Simpson. He was a former Atlanta Falcons defensive assistant last year. Doesn't have a lot of tenure. He only had 1 year in the NFL. No real college experience, but he was Buford High School's head coach in Georgia. And
a lot of talent goes through there.
He won 7 state titles alone in his 12 years there and had a 164-12 record as the head coach. How that translates to coach the defensive line, I'm not sure. But he obviously was on a championship team. And, was he there for 2 years? I don't know how long he was there for at Atlanta, but defensive assistant in Atlanta. I think that was just based off of his tenure. They just brought him up to the big leagues. I don't know if he was there for 1 or 2 seasons, so he might have been there during that epic meltdown against the Patriots.
Yep.
But he's coming in now, filling Craig Kuligowski's spot. He got a lot of coaching to do, but working with Vic Beasley, working with a lot of those guys.
My boy Deion Jones, give him some love.
Yeah. Working with a lot of those guys, for the Falcons. Hopefully it translates over to our guys and we can have some more similar production, if not better. The other guy is going to be Jonathan Patke. He's going to fill in as the actual outside linebackers coach with the NCAA stretching us out and allowing us to get 10 coaches now. He's going to fill the outside linebacker coach position. Man Diaz will continue to coach the middle linebackers and be defensive coordinator. Outside of that, there's not really too much that we got to deal with. So that's pretty much the gist of that. Before you go, I know you got to take off soon. Last two things, realistic record outlook based off of what you got returning, and then freshmen to be on the lookout for. Let's do one freshman offense, one freshman defense to look out for, and then realistic record outlook for next year.
Okay. I'll start with the incoming recruits that I'm most excited about. Offense, it's no secret. We signed 2 5-star wide receivers. Terrace Marshall being the number 1 receiver in the country. Some high Brendan Harris. If LSU fans remember that bum. He got yeah, bum. He was no clown, was a bum. The capital M. Bum. Anyway, but I'm actually going to go with the guy that was right behind him, and Jamar Chase. If you was to go to Jamar Chase's pace, he's recovering. He's nursing and recovering, and he's rehabbing. He's suffering in the playoff game. But he looks like a grown ass man playing wideout. He's easily 6'10", easily 6'2", 210 plus. A little misspeak, it's all good. But yeah, he's easily 6'2", 210 easily. Like he's physically imposing. Like he looks like he's been 2 years in a college weight program. I could see him on the field and see how his impact. See if he's able to crack our extremely deep receiver pool. Because I mean, we're deep there. Probably most people have ever been since back when we had Dwayne, Bo, early Doucette, all those boys. Roger LaFell. And then on defense, for me, I want to see how Fat Joseph, Ellen Joseph, who chose Alabama on the unarmed game. I mean, chose LSU over Alabama, if you remember, in the Army game. But anyway, since we lost on Pat Surtain, and then we had Duncan Jackson and Kevin Tolliver both declared early, there's some depth issues in our secondary, especially at corner. Mm-hmm. Joseph can play either one of those spots. He can play safety, which we're extremely deep at, which I don't expect him to play his freshman year. But I do expect him to get ticked. Obviously, Greedy Williams. I'm not saying he's going to start. I see that he's going to be a familiar face in the rotation. Extremely, extremely physical. A nasty disposition about himself. It's like you thought somebody stole something from his mom right in front of him. The way he goes about football, the way he jams on coverage, his makeup speed, his size. I'm excited about him. I hope that he can help bolster that corner spot. Because I mean, we have corners there. Former 4 and 5-star guys there right now. But we don't have a lot of depth. That's what, Pat PS2, Pat Surtain was supposed to bring, or Mario Goodrich missed on both. So now look to switch Kelvin Joseph and see how he works the corner. And then for season outlook, this season can go one of two ways. He can go extremely well or extremely bad. I'm alone in thinking that it's more towards the good, but somewhere, in between halfway and good, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. I see it be 8-4. I see it being 10-2, no more than 10-2. To break down the schedule, I have a game by game. First game is extremely hard to predict because Miami is going to be a very, very solid football team, which return a lot on defense. I'm curious to see how everything works, especially in that front seven. I think they've been all both outstanding linebackers back, and Manny Diaz is nowhere bringing the pressure. So, but having a young quarterback first time starting, that's going to be tough. What I think puts in our favor is, even though Miami fans travel well, Dallas and Houston, all the way from Dallas, Texas, down to Houston, East Texas, it's almost LSU country. So it's going to be a lot of LSU fans in Jerry World. Mm-hmm. Some Hurricane fans too, but we are in this nice little deep pool of raging Cajuns, but raging Cajun Tigers. So I got that as a win. I got Southeast as a win, of course. Game 3 at Auburn. We never win at Auburn. Never. 2-1. We just don't. Even when we had better teams, the year Auburn went 0-8 in the SEC, and it was the year after we played for the national title, we beat them 12-10. Auburn had won like 2 or 3 games that year, and we beat them 12-10. So
that's crazy.
About Jordan Hare Stadium that kind of messed with us. So 2-1, beat La Tech, beat Ole Miss at home, at Florida. If anybody remembers this game, we played at Florida last year too.
Oh yeah, because the storm, the hurricane.
Hurricane it was. Yeah, with that weak ass 80 Jeremy Foley, was scared as hell to play the game when the game on the week should have been played. It was so bad that Gainesville High School had a football game, and they still play that. What the fuck? Jeremy told it. Like anybody who's lived in the inner lip towards the Gulf of Florida knows that hurricanes rarely ever hit inside of Florida. Rarely ever. We all know this. So why the hell would you think that? I don't know. For me, it was just, and then we offered to play it on a Sunday, on a Monday. You played at our stadium. We even give you the proceeds from all the venues. He said no to all. He said no to all of them. So I'm saying, fuck it. We ain't playing the game then. Well, next week come around and Mike Slav, the SC commissioner. Greg Sankey, SC commissioner. You know, him and Jerry Foley are on TV together and agreeing that, you know, we'll play it, you know, LSU the next year's played at Florida, which really fucks us because they ended up winning the game where we're at. Because when they played us initially in October, they had upwards of 11 injuries, including C.C. Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? So this time around, you know, they still had injuries, but they had more help, and you know, we looked at it. We should win the game. And Dante Jackson, once again, get beautiful Tyree Cleveland. So anyway. But Tom,
say that again, because what happened with the corner? You broke up.
Dante motherfucking Jackson. So Dante Jackson, of course, we're playing bump and run. I mean, that's what we do at LSU. We man up on our island, so to speak. Well, Cleveland just outmuscles them. Keep in mind, they're on the 1 yard line. The 1 yard line. Close it up, catch that motherfucker. 99 yards to the house. Like, I can't explain my level of disgust. And it's happened time again. It happened against 10 motherfucking seeds. Tennessee also lost at the end of the half. And then Notre Dame, of course, I can't even talk right now. Like, Notre Dame did it too. So anyway, back to what I'm talking about. Before we went to the Florida game, I see beating Florida 5-1. Georgia, that's a loss, 5-2. They returned too much. And that QB, I can't think of his name.
Justin Fields?
Jake Fromm.
Oh.
That's another story. I don't know why the hell he went there when you got Jake Fromm like that. But Fields is the deal, though. He's the deal. But anyway, Jake from State Farm. That motherfucker's nice. And then they return Swift for QB, Elijah Holyfield. That defense is going to be nasty, filthy. Got Trent Thompson back in the middle of that defense. I don't see us beating them. We got him at home, and hopefully it's a night game. The last time they were there, we played them in a day game, and No Sean Moreno ran all over them and beat us like 59-36 or some shit like that. So, I mean, hopefully it's a night game. But that's 5-2. We beat State at home, and this is the one. We're 7-2 going to the Alabama game. We lose. That's all right. We'll get them eventually. Piece of shit. Fuck Nick Saban. So that's what we're at 5-2, 6-2, 7-3. And I see us beating everybody else. On the road in Arkansas, we'll beat Rice, and we'll beat A&M.
So what's your overall outlook?
9-3.
9-3 going to a decent bowl game?
Mm-hmm. Something like the Capital One Bowl, Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, whatever it is. Something like that. Maybe the Outback.
Okay. As far as my guys, two guys I'm excited about. One is biased purely because he went to my alma mater, Miami Southridge. But while I'm excited about Lorenzo Lingard, I think he's gonna red shirt. But I think a guy who, if Amon Richards doesn't come back in time, Mark Pope, man, better known as Noodles, man, one of the better receivers. Yeah, one of the better receivers that come out of Miami Southridge in a while. 4-star, 5 on some sites. He had 2 years ago. Miami Southridge won our first state title in like 20, 30 years. It seemed like. I think it was actually 20, 30 years. When I was there, we only won districts, and we got smoked in the first round by Central. But
ooh, damn, that's a tough draw.
Yeah. So, but I think that this kid, like, they were down like I think it was 13-3, I think, and he ended up catching like the last 2 touchdowns. One of them was like a bomb at the end of the game as time ran out. Won a state championship. Difference maker. Like, I'm expecting him to be so talented. He's gonna have to crack some playing time in some capacity. On defense, I already talked about him. DJ Ivy. I'm also interested in Nesta Silvera, but I think DJ Ivy is gonna do enough to solidify that corner position. It's gonna be interesting what y'all receivers gonna do against us. So if he is starting, he's gonna have to learn real quick. But I think he has the mental makeup to get him through it. As far as the schedule, we talked about it before, like in the past, how LSU travels. You've had, those season openers at Arlington and Jerry's World. So, I think that game, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I think that game is all decided by the refs. I know and I say that because I used to argue refs all the time, and if you go back and watch that game against Wisconsin, referees had their head. I mean, you can even see it on my profile, not my profile pic, but my little background pic. It's a picture of Lawrence Cager getting held on what should have been a touchdown against, like, literally getting his pants pulled from the back. Pause. On what should have been a touchdown, in that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and no call at all. And that's just crazy to me. So,
upset.
LSU, I'm really interested to see it more than make a prediction on it. Because I really don't know. I mean, Savannah State, Toledo, and FIU is all warm-up games. Shameless plug, fuck FIU. I just applied there. And I don't know why they didn't accept me, so I was gonna quietly kind of root for them, but fuck them. Fuck them, man, Butch Davis. That's how I feel. North Carolina, I don't think they returned enough. I think they were terrible last year. I think they get better this year, but just not enough to stop Miami. So I got us. I didn't predict LSU, but I got us at actually 4-0 headed into Florida State. 5-0 or 4-1 heading to Florida State. Florida State at home. If N'Kosi Perry is the guy, he has no excuse to lose to Florida State. Zero. Because Malik Rozier beat them with less weapons on the road in Tallahassee. So if this is their savior, I don't want to hear shit. All these guys who riding with Perry, he better beat. He really has no room, in my opinion, based off our fan base, to be A, not the starter, and B, not undefeated up to this point. So we'll leave it at that. Virginia's always tough. Racist ass crackers with their tiki torches.
Yeah.
Charlottesville,
by the way.
Yeah, facts. I don't know why Nick Saban. I'm not Nick Saban. Al Golden used to struggle against these guys a lot. I don't know what it was. He used to be the defensive coordinator. Maybe it's just being back there or something. But even last year we struggled to this game. We almost lost this game. As much as we win it, we could have very easily lost this game last year, and that was at home. So being out there on the road in Charlottesville, they're gonna bring their crowd. They're missing obviously Quinn Blanding, who's probably been one of the better players to come to their program. Still a head scratch to me. Yeah. How a 5-star ended up at that.
5-star recruit.
Yeah, how he ended up at Virginia. I mean, I get he's from Virginia, but I don't know.
From VA.
At Boston College, those dudes shocked a lot of people last year. And it's at Boston College on a Friday night. So that's going to be really interesting. That could be a season definer for us.
W.
Huh?
Y'all going to beat them.
I don't know. Their defense has been steadily one of the more consistent. They give everybody problems in the Atlantic, year in and year out. Whether it's Florida State, Clemson, their defense gives people problems. Man, they just draft fast, white, athletic, Caucasian linebackers, defensive linemen. You know what I'm saying? Like they always just seem to figure it out.
Luke.
Yeah, even before Luke Kuechly, they used to give people work, and we haven't played them in a long time. So I'm not calling that a toss up.
Who's the dude who had cancer? He was cold too.
For Boston College?
Yeah, he had cancer. He beat it, and he still came back, and it still was a monster.
I don't remember.
Look at his name.
Duke, that's a W. At Georgia Tech, that's a W. That game should have been close last year. I don't know what happened, but we dragged them. Every couple of years, they have this one year where they just kind of rise out the ashes, and they actually have a decent game against us, and sometimes they beat us under Al Golden. But I don't see Mark Richt, who's seen that triple option so many years, being able to stop that. Virginia Tech, November 17th. That's going to be an interesting game. It's in Blacksburg. Usually it's a Thursday night game, which is thankfully for once not on a Thursday night or a Saturday night. But depending on where we ranking, that could very well be Saturday night in Blacksburg. That's a hard place to play, man. Enter the Sandman.
Hell yeah, Lane Stadium.
Yeah. Enter the Sandman, going over the speakers. That's gonna be there's a lot of youth that may not be accustomed to that yet. So that'll be interesting. And I think they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder from last season. And then Pittsburgh in Miami, there's no excuse, zero excuse. Miami needs to hang 90 on their head for that fuckery that happened after Thanksgiving last year. Oh my God. The worst part about that is Mark D'Antonio calling his shot at the half and saying that they were going to beat us, and then us making zero adjustments and it coming to fruition. That's the craziest thing to me. But all in all, I'm looking at honestly, barring some type of major injuries at certain positions in need, I see Miami being 10-2, possibly 11-1. But there's a lot of question marks. Obviously, the quarterback, we don't have a starter yet. Malik Rozier, can he improve on the things that he kind of missed last year? Offensive line play, is that going to get better? The running back position, and who's going to push Travis Homer? A lot of those things will come to fruition, and we'll kind of get a better feel. But we'll definitely see where we go from there. Appreciate having you on the show. Appreciate you taking your time out, man. I know you got things to do.
It's all love, baby.
Yeah. Of course, man. We'll try to see if we can get you on some more episodes in the future, man. One more time for the people.
Everybody, I'm sorry. Go ahead, my man. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Everybody, go ahead. Give me a follow if you can at tburks87. Again, T as in Tango Bravo URKS 87, and you know what it is. Always LSU this way. One team, one heartbeat. Go Tigers.
No doubt, man. Of course, you know me. And you know all my socials. Like I said, it'll be in the episode description if you need that. Follow it, man. Like I said, I don't argue college football with too many people because most people I argue is idiots. You know what I'm saying? So for me to have somebody on this podcast, you know what I'm saying, is definitely Burks is certified. You know what I'm saying? My guy Ty's certified. He knows what he's talking about. Got a lot of expertise with the game, man. So we'll definitely chop it up some more, man, in the future, man. Try to find some other subjects. Playoff basketball about to start soon. The Lakers in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. No. We just were eliminated about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. But the thing about it is we were fighting for the 8th seed. That's impressive in itself. Our best player is 19. Our 3 stars are under 21. Like, come on. Like, don't LeBron, stay your motherfucking ass in Cleveland with that. Let us do our thing.
Facts, man. I'm on the fence about if I'll take him back in South Beach, man. But, definitely I didn't even start watching basketball till D-Wade climbed off that jet. Is when I turned back into basketball season. I hadn't watched basketball dead ass in like 2 years. So definitely seeing if we could we got a couple games before we can secure the 7th or 8th seed, you know what I'm saying? I don't see us getting very far, you know what I'm saying, but we'll definitely see how it goes.
Oh yeah.
But thanks for coming on again, man. Appreciate it, man. You know it's always love over here, man. Go Canes, man. All right, later.
All right, boy.
You're listening to DJ Medi Major.